Raw makes its debut on Netflix as the WWE kicks off the road to WrestleMania. Hey everyone, Rob Wong, joined alongside by Postmedia wrestling writer Jan Murphy. And Jan, one in the books, Raw making its debut on Netflix. A lot of people with eyeballs on that first show, a long one approaching 3.5 hours in some circles. It was definitely a long program, but that's what you would have expected with WWE making its inaugural show on Netflix. What were your thoughts about everything that you saw on night number one?
Boy, so many thoughts. What a great show. What a great introduction. That lead-in segment with Triple H behind the curtain, where he blended the industry language, heels, faces, which we've never heard before, was kind of opening up the fourth wall, or the pulling back the curtain, as they say. They used some other lingo throughout the show. Michael Cole did, to sort of, and I think Triple H said in the press conference after, to sort of let the rest of the world into their world, the blending of two worlds. And what a show! The production, the new camera angles, the new set, the matches themselves, the surprises, the special guests, absolutely lived up to the hype. And there was a lot of hype going into this, and no streaming legs like Tyson versus was it Jake Paul, or
Yeah, well,
yeah.
I was definitely concerned about that, to be honest. Would this event start on time, or would my connection be lagging, and maybe I'd be a couple of minutes behind? But as you said, they really pulled out all the stops. We saw The Rock, of course. We saw John Cena. We saw The Undertaker. We even saw Hulk Hogan come out, and to the chorus of boos from a lot of the fans there in Los Angeles. But Triple H did talk a lot about how it sort of had that PLE or pay-per-view feel. But what did you make of sort of the old stars that WWE pulled out to try to generate some interest in this one?
Of course, the thing that stood out to me, two things stood out to me. The Rock came out as The Rock and not the final boss, which leaves a little bit of a mystery as to whether the final boss version of The Rock will be coming back in time for WrestleMania, because they made absolutely no references, no promises. That question is a big question coming out of this show. What is The Rock's future? Is The Rock going to be at WrestleMania like everyone sort of assumed? Maybe some Easter egg drops by The Rock, telling Cody Rhodes to say hi to his mom, going in and making us question for a second whether he was going to put that, thing around, I forget what they call it, Roman Reigns' neck or not. So, but really, the way it was left, we think The Rock just showed up as himself and left. The Undertaker was a bit baffling to me. It was so quick. One spin around the ring as the American Badass, and he was gone. The right person to do that with, obviously, with that only title that changed hands last night. So I thought that was Rhea Ripley. I thought that was a fantastic decision. Hulk Hogan blew my mind. I mean, I guess when I think about it, and I'm sure if people were analyzing it to death afterward, Hogan's a Trump supporter. He was out in California, which is a Democrat state. Uh, I guess maybe we shouldn't be surprised. Hogan also has had a lot of other things plague him over the years, racist claims, and not even claims of videos showing him being racist, sex video, all sorts of drama has followed him. So maybe it wasn't so surprising. I couldn't help but think to myself, had he come out as Hollywood Hulk Hogan, he'd have got a totally different reception. And I'm not sure why they didn't go that route, but even Jimmy Hart couldn't save him last night. And John Cena did what I wanted John Cena to do, which was come out and say, I am going to go after a 17th title. After he said he wasn't, of course. He teased it a little bit and then announced his participation in the Rumble with a chance at winning it and competing for a 17th World Championship. So I really liked what they did. Stone Cold Steve Austin not being there was a big omission for me, but it is what it is.
Yeah, you can't bring everybody back, unfortunately. You have to kind of pick and choose your spots. But, I think the interesting part here now, Jan, is where does WWE go from here? Because Triple H also talked about it in the post-show news conference that not every week you can kind of have these big shows. I think he referenced Game of Thrones and some other big television shows where it's like they have this big episode and then the next week it's more about story building. So for people that maybe tuned in yesterday that are more casual fans, how does WWE make sure that those people continue to tune in as they're hoping so?
That's a really good question because we only had a handful of competitors compete last night. Now they saw um, four terrific matches. So I mean, if you were tuning in to see the wrestling and see if it caught your interest enough, whether you were a casual fan, an old fan, or somebody completely new, you'd have no complaints about those matches. They were all what you know Dave Meltzer would call 5 stars. Well, he wouldn't, but I would steal his 5 star terminology and say they were all excellent 5 star matches. The opening match with Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa maybe dragged a little bit in the middle of the match, but a fantastic finish. Rhea Ripley tore it down. She looks healthy. Probably inspired a lot of people last night who tuned in to see what women's wrestling can still offer in WWE. Seth Rollins, CM Punk, instant classic. Terrific match, terrific finish. To see Seth Rollins bleeding from the GTS to the 2 or 3 consecutive GTSs to finish that match, excellent, excellent, excellent. Again, Drew McIntyre and Jey Uso, fantastic. I mean, if that's what you tuned in for to see what it was all about, you probably will come back to watch for more. And then they mixed in that old stuff for people who maybe tuned in to see what surprises were going to be there. But you're right, the drop off will be significant for people because you can't do that. Was like a WrestleMania last night or a PLE. So it's back to storylines, it's back to more matches, it's back to more talent. The interesting thing, and I thought about it today at the dentist's office of all places, I couldn't figure out what those gaps were last night, where it looked like they were going to go to commercial and they came back. Netflix, if you don't have the premier subscription, has commercials. If you only pay $4.99 for Netflix, it has commercials. So that's what those gaps were for the people with $4.99.
Yeah,
I just figured that out this afternoon.
I was definitely surprised by that as well, watching it in real time, thinking, what are these weird gaps where they're kind of fading to black, but it's where they put the commercials in for people that don't have the, I guess, sort of ad free Netflix. So, an interesting wrinkle, but you got to sell the product and you got to sell your advertisers somehow. So, we know we
Yeah,
saw the ring last night. The canvas was full of different advertisements, kind of like a boxing match in some ways. So, they're definitely doing everything they can to, push this as much as they hope to and plan to moving forward. But it should be interesting over the next couple of months to see where things go with the viewership with Raw on Netflix. As always, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. For Jan Murphy, I'm Rob Wong. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you next week.